What's going on, guys? It's Tom, all Topics in Wrestling, and welcome back to another video on the channel. I know that it has been a long while since I have uploaded a video, but I'm finally back and going to be uploading hopefully a lot more for March. I've got some videos planned. I'm very sorry, uni stuff just got in the way. But in this video, we're going to be ranking every TNA 2009 pay-per-view. I've had this video planned for a while. I thought I'd wait to do it before I nearly finished my 2010 video, which could come out soon, because this is namely the last year of TNA before Hulk Hogan came in. So this is the last year of pay-per-views. We're going to be looking at them, and in my 2010 video, we can kind of see how different they were. So we're going to go through all 12 pay-per-views, talk about them. Well, we're just going to rank them, aren't we? Either way, check out my Patreon, subscribe with notifications on if you do enjoy the video, because only a select portion of you are actually subscribed. I'm doing this intro very sloppily. It's been so long since I've done this. Anyway, let's get into the video.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you are watching Top 10 Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Coming in at number 12, we have Victory Road, which this is absolutely no surprise. I made a video on this pay-per-view where I specifically called it the worst pay-per-view of all time, because I firmly believe it is the worst pay-per-view of all time. The only really good things you had on the show, the opening women's match was pretty okay, Abyss and Dr. Stevie had a fun little match, Kevin Nash and AJ Styles wasn't bad, but other than that, Booker T and Scott Steiner versus Beer Money was terrible. Kurt Angle and Mick Foley in the main event just was so slow and not great. And of course, Jenna Maraska versus Sharmell is widely considered by many to be the worst TNA match of all time, and I think I'd probably agree with that. Elsewhere on the card, you had Matt Morgan and Christopher Daniels having a very average match, Team 3D and the British Invasion, Samoa Joe and Sting. Just not a great card all around. It had all the makings to be a good show, honestly, because these matches on paper look pretty good, but it was just a tragic event. Coming in at number 11, we have Against All Odds. And the issue with this show is that a few matches on this show did not feel like pay-per-view worthy matches, and some of them were really random. So first of all, you had Alex Shelley and Eric Young, which was a good match. This is when Alex Shelley was X Division champion. He was brilliant. Steiner and Peter Williams, alright. Magnus beating Chris Sabin, no. Booker T and Shane Soule having a match, what is that about? Abyss and Matt Morgan having a regular singles match, not fun in the slightest. You had Sting against Team 3D and Kurt Angle in a four-way match for the world title. Just a very random match and not very memorable. I think that's the issue with this show. Not memorable in the slightest, really. Coming in, we have Destination X at number 10. This show had some good, but also had equal amounts of bad. First of all, you had the Governor, Roxy, and Taylor Wilde defeating the Beautiful People. Not great. The Governor was not a good gimmick. Taylor Wilde was the only good part of this match. Magnus now beating Eric Young in 5 minutes. Matt Morgan and Abyss had a tax match, which was actually pretty decent. Awesome Kong and Sojo Bolt, hell no. Scott Steiner and Samoa Joe ending in a DQ after a minute and a half. And other than that, you did have some good stuff, like I said. Team 3D and Beer Money had a good match, though it did end in countout, despite it being a no disqualification match. And the Ultimate X match with Sue, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Consequences Creed, and Jay Lethal was really good, with the main event being Sting versus Kurt Angle for the world title. Decent match there, I guess, and AJ Styles versus Booker T earlier on in the card for the Forsaken Legends Championship was what it was, really. Overall, like I said, some good stuff, but equal amounts of bad, I feel like. This pay-per-view is kind of straight down the middle. Coming in at number 9, we have Hard Justice. Going through this card, another very weird card. The opening Steel Asylum match was awesome. Abyss faced Jethro Holiday, aka Lance Cade, I believe that is. Or is that's Trevor Murdoch, actually. Oh god. Hernandez beat Rob Terry in 9 seconds. The British Invasion and Beer Money had an F match. Cody Deaner and ODB versus the Beautiful People, where Cody Deaner kind of sort of won the Women's Championship. Samoa Joe and Homicide, decent little match. The main event, Mafia versus Team 3D, was forgettable. Nash versus Foley should not be happening on the card. And Kurt Angle versus Matt Morgan and Sting, just very average and forgettable. Number 8, we have No Surrender. We start off the show with Sarita and Taylor Wilde winning the TNA Knockouts tag titles. Decent stuff, I guess. Hernandez beat Eric Young in less than a minute. Samoa Joe and Daniels had a good match where Joe retained the X Division title. D'Angelo Dinero and Sue had a decent Falls Count Anywhere match with D'Angelo Dinero winning. ODB beat Cody Deaner for the Women's Championship. Let's not talk about that match. Kevin Nash and Abyss was kinda We had a Lethal Lockdown match with Beer Money and Team 3D against the Main Event Mafia and the British Invasion. A Lethal Lockdown match is always fun. Bobby Lashley versus Rhino was forgettable, but the highlight of the show, no doubt, was the 5-way in the main event for the world title, as AJ Styles won the title when he defeated Hernandez, Kurt Angle, Matt Morgan and Sting. This match was absolutely awesome, and that's why it probably doesn't rank lower. If this match wasn't there, it probably could have dropped a couple places, but this match very much made the show. Coming in at number 7, we have Sacrifice, and we found the point where, from here, the shows are either average to good. There's no really bad shows here. Eric Young and Lethal Consequences beat the Machine Guns and Sheikh Abdul Bashir. Pretty decent stuff. Taylor One and Daphne had a really short but sweet Monsters Ball match. Sue and Daniels had a good match that ended in the draw for the X Division title. Joe beat Nash, which was kind of Angelina Love beat Awesome Kong, pretty good knockouts match there. The main event was very good, with Sting defeating Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle and Foley in the Ultimate Sacrifice match to make himself the leader of the Main Event Mafia. We also had the I Quit match with AJ and Booker, won by AJ, and overall just a pretty good card top to bottom. There was a couple things here and there that weren't great, like the Beer Money tag match with the British Invasion and Samoa Joe and Nash, but the show was what it was, and I thought it was pretty decent. Coming in at number 6, we have Genesis. Now, the first thing about this show is that this show is absolutely made by the second match mainly. Alex Shelley versus Chris Sabin for the vacant TNA X Division title. These two tore the house down. Such an awesome match from these two, and Alex Shelley winning the X Division title was so deserved. You did also have Shane Sewell versus Sheikh Abdul Bashir, less said about that. But then you had Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett having a banger of a no DQ match, really enjoyable match there. As well as Beer Money defending the tag titles against Lethal Consequences and Abyss and Matt Morgan. And the show was very solid overall. Sting versus Rhino for the world title wasn't great, nor was the main event with the front line against the Main Event Mafia and Cute Kip, because Kevin Nash couldn't make it. But good solid card, honestly, solid show. Coming in at number 5, we have Lockdown, which I feel like is a show you can't really go wrong with in TNA. It's almost never bad. The X Division Escape match was really fun. The Motor City Machine Guns versus LAX and No Limit was really fun, honestly. Doomsday Chamber of Blood with Morgan and Abyss was not too great. Angelina Love, Awesome Kong and Taylor Wilde had a pretty good triple threat match, I thought. Team 3D versus Beer Money in a street fight cage match. The Lethal Lockdown match with Team Jarrett versus Team Angle was of course great. Lethal Lockdown rules. And Mick Foley beat Sting in the main event to win the world title in a surprisingly really good match as well. Coming in at number 4, we have Final Resolution, the last pay-per-view of 2009, which is a show that was very much made by the final hour of the card. Let me go through these matches. Abyss and Mick Foley versus Stevie and Raven was a really fun hardcore match. Kurt Angle and Desmond Wolfe had the 3 Degrees of Pain match, which ruled, and AJ Styles defended the world title against Daniels in the main event in a really awesome match. Those are the final 3 matches, and honestly, they make the show because it was awesome. Elsewhere, you had the Machine Guns and British Invasion, Tara and ODB, the Feast or Fired match, and a 4-way match with Dinero, Hernandez, Morgan and Suicide against Jesse Neal, Team 3D and Rhino, where they made Hernandez look mega strong. And then Bobby Lashley and Scott Steiner in a Last Man Standing match, which was pretty good, I thought. I thought Last Man Standing was a great stipulation for them. Coming in at number 3, we have the big one. It's Bound for Glory. This show had some really cool stuff. First of all, Amazing Red winning the Ultimate X with Shelley, Sabin, Daniels, Homicide and Sue. Really fun X Division title match there. The triple threat women's match with ODB, Awesome Kong and Tara was really fun. Abyss versus Mick Foley in the Monsters Ball was great. And AJ Styles versus Sting. These two going one-on-one was just a sight to see. Really awesome for the world title. Battle of the Generations, and I thoroughly enjoyed that match. Slammiversary 2009 comes in at number 2. Top to bottom, this card was pretty average to good. There was no bad matches on this card, I thought. They were either average to very good. You had Sue defeat the Motor City Machine Guns and Lethal Consequences in the King of the Mountain for the TNA X Division title. Daniels and Shane Douglas did what they could, had a pretty good match. Angelina Love and Tara, it was okay. Abyss and Taylor Wilde against Daphne and Raven, though, in a Monsters Ball is borderline one of my favorite TNA matches of all time, and I'm not lying. I love this match. Seek it out if you want to watch it. Sting and Matt Morgan was average. Beer Money and Team 3D with a great match between them. And in the main event, the King of the Mountain for the world title, Angle, Foley, AJ, Jeff Jarrett, and Samoa Joe had a very good match, with Kurt Angle winning it. Very good show from top to bottom. And coming in at number 1 is Turning Point, which is ironically the first show after Hogan was announced to be part of TNA. First of all, ODB, Sarita and Taylor Wilde defeat the Beautiful People. It was what it was. The British Invasion defeated the Machine Guns and Beer Money. Really good match there. Tara and Awesome Kong had an awesome cage match, which Tara won. Team 3D and Rhino defeated D'Angelo Dinero, Hernandez and Morgan in what it was. Steiner and Lashley had a pretty good 40-count anywhere match. Angle and Desmond Wolfe had another great singles match between the two of them. And in the main event, the Unbreakable Triple Threat rematch, AJ defeats Daniels and Samoa Joe, this time to retain the World Heavyweight title. Not a single bad match on this show, I thought, and one of my favorite TNA pay-per-views of all time. I will maybe review it in full in the future. I would love to. But yeah, that's my number 1 for 2009. Yeah guys, let me know what you thought of this video if you want to see me do this for 2010. Sorry if my presenting wasn't great. It's been a while since I've been on the mic, like I said, so I'm going to take a bit of getting used to, so I do apologize if it was a bit sloppy. It is difficult not doing it after 3 weeks. Either way, like the video, subscribe, notifications on, Patreon, podcast, Twitter, Instagram, all links down below. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.